What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Torrence, and in today's video, once again, we are playing with the FaceFX by Phoebe Scott. The FaceFX is an indie brand that started up in Detroit by a makeup artist by the name of Phoebe Scott, and I played with their Detroit palette, which was a gift to me by a friend, and if you would like to see that tutorial, I'll leave that linked right here above. And after posting that video, you all absolutely loved that tutorial. My comment section and my DMs were full with messages of people saying they would love to see more items from the brand. So imagine how shocked I was to check my P.O. box and realize I received my very first PR package. They sent over 2 different eyeshadow palettes, and I showed you all swatches of those in my previous video and asked which one would you like to see a tutorial on first. I found both palettes to be beautiful, but I couldn't make a decision, so I decided to let you all do it. And with one extra vote, literally just one extra vote, the Mousse palette won. And I'm here to tell you all, I am not the biggest fan of blues, but this here is absolutely beautiful. I'm someone who gives credit where credit is due, and even though blues and oranges are not on the top of my list, anytime a company does them right, they can be absolutely stunning. And I ain't gonna lie to you, blue will never take the place of green in my heart, but it's truly climbing up the ladder. So if you would like to see how I achieve this look, just continue to watch. But before we get started, I would love if you hit that subscribe button. If you already have, I would like to say thank you. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. Time to jump into things, and I'm quite sure you all have already seen the title and the eye look that I'm wearing. So more than likely, you already know which palette has won. I posted in a previous video, which I'll leave linked right here above, showing that I received my very first PR package, and in that package was 2 eye quads, and I wasn't quite sure exactly which one I wanted to use first, so I decided to let you all leave comments letting me know exactly which one you wanted to see, and I'm here to tell you, it was neck and neck up until the very last minute, where the Moods palette finally came through and took the very last vote. I'm telling you, because it only won by 1 vote, I can tell you all really want to see both palettes. So today I'm going to be doing the Mousse palette simply because it won first. But if you all would still like to see a tutorial on the business palette, just leave a comment saying that and I'll make sure I make that happen. And as you can see, I repressed that shimmer shade because I was so hurt that it broke, and I did not want to come to this video without having it intact just in case it won. So this is here, it's available and ready for use. But today we're going to be playing with the Mousse palette. And I'm here to let you all know, something told me deep down inside you all were going to choose the Mousse palette, simply because anytime I wear the color blue, you all go crazy. I know I keep saying that I don't like the color blue, but I must admit over time I have been noticing it looks better and better on me. I'm starting to feel the same way about the color blue as I used to feel the way about the color purple. I love it now, but at one point in time I could not stand it and I never wore it. But we're going to try to go in and show out today with this palette. And just like with any and all tutorials, I'll make sure I leave all tools and products left in the description bar below. And although I've already done so in the previous video, I want to make sure I give you all a close-up view of this palette as well as swatches. Here is a close-up of the eyeshadow palette. As you can see, we have 3 mattes and 1 metallic. Here is a close-up view of the swatches. Left to right, we have a peachy matte shade called Bear With Me. We have a matte blue shade called Don't Give Me the Blues. We have a shimmery champagne shade called The Feels, and a matte black shade called Not Sure What I'm Feeling. Now you all know I like a dramatic look, but I also like a nice blend. So we're going to start things off with this matte shade Bear With Me as our transition shade. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into this look. And I must tell you all, I've been so excited to hurry up and try either one of these palettes for the past few days. When I tell you, the moment I saw that box, I just got so excited. And as you all saw, the same day I picked it up, I ended up bringing it straight to the camera and showing you all, because I did not want to open this off camera and not have you all see it with me. This is just a moment I truly wanted to make sure that you all were a part of, because I just couldn't believe that someone actually sent me anything, and I have less than 400 people on my channel. And I want to go back in and do one more layer with this. I just want to see how pigmented it's going to get. It truly is building up, and I can see this color here in person, but I'm not sure how well it's going to translate on camera. This is a very light shade. I know
in most instances, I would probably use this as a lid shade instead of a transition shade. But because blues can be extremely pigmented and can blend out very far, I'm actually happy that this shade is much lighter, because that way, once that blue comes in, it'll make that blend look that much more seamless. And we have just enough here. Like I said, I can see that here. I think it's barely starting to show up right there on camera, but you can tell the difference between this blank side and this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye, and I'll be back right after I finish. Alright, now that we finished the blend on that, once again in person I think that transition shade is showing up a little better. But now that it's been a few moments and it's had time to sit, I think you can actually see that peachy shade starting to come through. In my personal opinion, just because I like more dramatic looks, I would have preferred a darker shade. But considering how difficult blues can be to blend, I think the reason they went in with this lighter color is to make sure that the blend is much more seamless. So we'll check that out with the next color. And now to deepen up our crease and add more color to this look, we're going to go into this matte shade here called Don't Give Me the Blue. And sis, let me tell you, this color seems so pigmented on this brush. I just went in and knocked off a bunch of excess, because the one thing I don't want to do is risk messing up. Anytime I have to deal with a matte blue or a matte black, I'm always treading lightly. So we're going to start off low in the crease on the outer half, but we're going to try to blend this throughout our entire crease. And more than likely, we're going to have to build this up, because I'd rather have a seamless blend and take time to do that than to have a pigmented look with patchy edges. So we're going to start here low. And you see how pigmented that blue done showed up, even though we tried to knock off a bunch. See, said she wasn't going to trick me. Baby, she is pigmented. And I like to just start low, get the color up to where we want it, then we can raise our brush up as need be to diffuse those edges. We want this to be a nice soft blend before we go in and add our next layer of color. Okay, see, yeah, I'm liking that. Alright, and now we can go in with one more layer, see what that's going to look like. And just like before, honey, we want to go in lightly. Start off low in the crease, get most of that pigment off the brush that way, and then slowly lift your brush to diffuse those edges. And you can tell, because we put that peach shade down first, it's helping give us a nicer blend around the edges. Because I promise you, if you go in with just a straight blue, it is that much harder to diffuse your edges. And now that we have soft blended edges, because we put the color in the crease first and then diffused it, I'm going to go in just one last time and keep that color extremely low in the crease. This time we're not going to diffuse those edges up. We're just going to take and put this right down here in the lowest point and leave it just like that. So that way when we cut our crease, the line seems that much harsher. You don't have to blend that out from there. Just leave it just like that. Going to be right back after I do this on the other side. Okay, as you all can see now, honey, we have a nice blend going on. So now it's time to go ahead and cut that crease. And of course, we're going to take our Morphe M421 brush, and we're just going to use this to go ahead and cut rather high. And you ain't no point of cutting the crease if we're going to go low. And I'm not sure whether I want to take this in front of the eye or not. But considering the fact I just said it out loud, more than likely we're going to. Like Torrence, if you're debating on it, you might as well not tease yourself. Go ahead and get it going. So let me grab a little bit more and bring this in front. Baby, I am so excited. I cannot wait. We got our crease cut. But before we go in with shimmer shades, we want to go back in and fill up our outer V with that matte blue shade. We're going to use the exact same brush and pack this on first. And we should get a deeper color because we're on top of a tacky base. I just want to make sure. Try to catch that from all angles because having hooded eyes means sometimes I could miss a spot and we don't want any patches. Gonna do this on the other side really quickly. Trying to make sure they even before we move on to the next step. I might need just a tad bit more on this side. Bam! Now I want to go in with this beautiful shimmer shade called The Feels and use this to cover my entire lid. And honey, out of all of the shades in this palette, I think this was the one I was most excited to use. Simply because it has a marble looking texture to it. And anytime I see shades like that, I automatically want to start mixing them together just to see what the final color is going to look like. Okay. And I'm loving the fact we were able to cover the entire eye without having to go back in and dip twice. And it's amazing how that color looks like it'll be beautiful with some warm neutral mattes, but how nice and pretty that is with that blue. Like that goes perfectly with it. Okay, and just to see how well this color does build, even though you can see we have our entire lid covered, I want to go back in with one more layer just to see what we can achieve. I'm going to start right here in the center. Okay, she builds. Yeah, she's even shinier right here on the inner half than she is on the outer half. Alright, so I'm loving that. I don't even think we're going to have to foil this to see if it goes any further. But if for any reason you can dampen your brush and this gets even more foiled, that's going to be even better. And this is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait until we get through. So what I'm going to do is jump ahead, finish the other eye, and I'll be right back. And baby, look at that. I cannot wait to finish this off. And as if this eye look isn't dramatic enough, I want to go in with this matte black shade called Not Sure What I'm Feeling and deepen up my outer V. So what I want to do is take my tiniest blending brush and I want this coated in that matte black shade. And what we're going to do is try to deepen up our outer V. We want to start on the outermost point. And we don't want to completely erase the blue, but we want the very corners of this look to be black. We're just going to use this here because to me this blue shade is so beautiful. I don't want this black to take over, especially considering the fact that I'm headed to work right now. They generally don't care what my eye makeup is like. But I do have some new employees coming through, and I want to make sure I don't scare them off completely. And for a second, I wanted to go in and deepen up my crease right there and diffuse that cut crease. But you know what? I'm liking how high and how pretty that is. So what I think I'm going to do is use that black on the lower lash line. And because I'm satisfied with what we already have going on the eyes, I'm going to cut away, finish off the face, and I'll be back to show you how we'll finish off the eyes. Sis, get into this bead. Like, oh my goodness. When I tell you all, I am really excited to finish this look up. First, I want to tell you what I used off camera. On the eyes, I decided to try out a new to me, but I believe this is a discontinued eyeliner. This is from Urban Decay because you all know I love their 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. This is the shade called Goddess. It came in a miniature 5-piece set, I believe, either 2 or 3 years ago. And I know, honey, but I still have not tested out all 5 colors.
This one here appears to be, I'm going to describe it as a soft black with blue shimmers in it. And if you can look here, it looks like it may even be black on camera, but in person, it comes off almost as a really dark satin blue. Like if you are really focused on my eyes, you can see, and it makes you wonder like, wait, is that black or is it blue? And as I turn my eyes, the light catches some of those particles in certain areas, so it looks more blue in certain spots than others. And to me, it's absolutely beautiful because although it's not a duochrome, because duochromes are my favorite finish of shimmer eyeshadows, it's just really doing it for me. And unfortunately, just like with all blue eyeliners, this one did take a little bit to build up, but the color is beautiful and I actually like it. And considering I only have a mini, I think this is all I'm ever gonna need. For the blush, I went into my favorite blush from Juvia's Place. Last week I did 3 different tutorials, and I believe Juvia's Place as of right now only has 2 single blushes and 2 blush palettes. I used both of the palettes and one of the blush singles last week. So this week I just had to finish things off with my favorite, and that is the Serafina blush from Juvia's Place. When I tell you all, there's nothing anybody can ever tell me bad about this blush. I love the color, I love the formula, I love the shine that it gives. And to me, it's just enough there to give me a natural flush. And I'm telling you, I built this color up. I am known for going ham with my blushes, which is why I like soft colors like this. For the face, I completely forgot, even though we were doing a first impressions on the eyeshadow palette, they also sent me the settled finishing powder. This is in the shade Chestnut. And I know I was supposed to use this all over the face, but it wasn't until I started baking underneath the eyes with my normal powder that I realized I was supposed to grab this. So although this powder isn't in my highlighted areas, it is all over the rest of the face. And I can tell you, honey, this powder is beautiful. You all can see the sheen that it is giving. It is a mattifying powder, but because I went in and dusted off all the excess, this color here is beautiful. And what I'm liking even more is the fact that I didn't even pick this shade. They picked it for me, and I'm absolutely loving it. I think once they do finally release this powder on their website, I'm gonna go in and get me an even brighter shade because I am someone, I know natural makeups looks best, but I am someone who feels as if I'm gonna go in and do my makeup, honey, I'm going over the top and I'm going for a full baked face, honey. I enjoy baking, and this powder has become one of my new favorites. I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna put my face mask on, and I'm telling you, if this powder lasts all day, it's gonna be sitting right here on the table with the rest of the powders. The last thing I went in with that I wanna show you is my lip combo. I went in with my Lip Bar lip liner in the color Straight Living. This is their dark brown one. Just put this on, blended out the edges so I didn't have a sharp line. And for gloss, you all know, I absolutely love the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bombs. Any and every time they come out with a new color, I have to have it. I believe as of right now, they're up to 19 or 20 different colors. And because I'm a sucker, I had to get this new one as well. This one here came in a duo set, and it also comes with a small little key ring here. I'm a sucker for keychains and key rings. I believe I even brought up in a previous video how I finally broke my Coach key ring, and I was so upset about it because I also gave my mother one and she won't give me hers, so I gotta go buy another one. But that's besides the point. With this kit, although I knew for sure I was gonna get it, I'm not gonna lie, I was completely bitter over having to grab it because the shade that I wanted is this shade here, Pink Dragon Fruit, which is the color I'm wearing now. And I'm telling you, honey, she is beautiful. Rihanna, we need this in a full size in your permanent collection because this color is stunning. The main reason I didn't want this miniature duo is because this shade here, Fenty Glow, appears to be in all of their collabs. And I personally have 3 full sizes of this particular gloss, not only because I purchased them individually, but in their last Christmas set, it came with a full size one. So to know we're only in January and we already have another in a mini, I just truly believe they could have either given us the Pink Dragon Fruit in a full size or 2 new colors. But I have this one here, and more than likely I'm gonna give this miniature away because I don't need it. All I really wanted was this new color and this keychain. So I'm gonna keep those 2, and I'll put this one aside for a giveaway for you all. And although, honey, the glam is almost done, we still got a little bit more to do. I want to finish off my lower lash line. And to help bring this look together, we're going to take this matte blue shade and smoke this out on the lower lash line with the pencil brush. And we're going to start here on the outer half, and we're just going to buff this out. I want to make sure I tap off all excess product because we can always come back in and build up the opacity. And with this being a matte blue, trust me, she will garner attention. But the closer you get to the center of the eye, the slower you want to go, and you want to be a little more precise, because the last thing you want to do is have the color blue in the wrong spot, honey. We do not want it to look like we've been hitting the eye. I'm going to use this to connect that right up to the edge. I don't necessarily want to diffuse the edges of this crisp line that I have out there. We're just going to make sure we buff these up and together. You do want to make sure they meet though. And I'll be right back after I do the same on the other side. Baby, that blue is popping. You can see that from across the room. But you know I need to go a little more dramatic than that. So to help add a little more drama and a little more depth to the lower lash line, we're going to take this matte black shade and a push liner brush, and we're going to use that to deepen up our lashes. And honey, we're going to take this, once again, starting on that outer half, and we want to push this as close to the lash line as we can possibly get it. This is going to help make our lashes look that much thicker and fuller. And because this line here is going to be a little bit deeper than our eyeliner, it'll help make that color pop as well. Alrighty. And we want to try to keep that line as thin as possible, and I'll be right back after I do the other side. Almost through, you guys. The last step to finish off the eyes is to highlight our brow bone and our inner eye corners. And for that, I'm going to use the same highlighter I used on the rest of the face, the Anastasia Denona Super Glow. And trust me, honey, if you know anything about this highlighter, it is popping and it has an extremely high shine. So we're going to do our inner corners first, just to make sure we deposit most of that color there. I promise you, every time I use it, I am just amazed. Look at that, honey. It doesn't make sense for one highlighter to be this beautiful. And whatever product is left, we're going to use that and just put that right underneath the brows. And you can see just how much color is still left on that brush. There's no need to dip again. And baby, I just knew we was through, but I completely forgot to set my brows again. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, now it's time to set things, and you all know the routine. Fix Plus to add a glowy do. All-nighter so things last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. I'm going to give this a few more seconds to dry, and I'll be back to give you all my final thoughts. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead and give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you, honey, the look is absolutely beautiful. The first thing I wanted to say is when I first picked this palette up, the only thing I kept saying was, another matte blue? Who gonna be wearing that? But I'm here to tell you all, honey, blues have really been showing out this year, and I truly like this one.
First thing first, we want to get rid of any and all cons because I want to be able to give you my honest opinion on any and everything that I use. The only thing that I would change about this particular palette is simply because I like more dramatic looks and I like more colorful looks. I personally would have preferred if this first shade here, Bear With Me, would have been a little bit darker. Simply because in person, I believe it shows up a lot better than it does on camera. More than likely, if you have my skin complexion or lighter, this will be a beautiful transition shade. But chances are, if you're a dark-skinned woman of color, this may not be a good transition shade for you. It'll probably make a beautiful lid shade for a cut crease. With this blue shade, she's absolutely pigmented, she's buildable, she's blendable. And what I really like is that it's a true matte blue. It doesn't have any sparkles or anything to it. It doesn't have like a strong yellow or green undertone. It comes off as a straight neutral blue. But by adding it on top of this peachy shade, to me, it's sort of coming off as like a turquoise teal now that it's had time to settle and it's been sprayed. But I'm quite sure if you were to go in with it, with say like a neutral brown or a white shade underneath it, it'll keep that blue hue. But to know that it blends and builds on top of other colors instead of getting muddy and patchy and staying in one spot, I'm loving it. For the black shade, this is not the world's most pigmented black, but considering the fact the average makeup wearer doesn't want something that comes in with full-blown opacity, having colors that build and blend, such as difficult colors like blue and black, will probably be more suitable for most people. I personally absolutely love matte blacks. They're my second favorite behind matte greens. So I don't mind taking one that is a true matte black pigment, putting it in and being comfortable with blending. But I'm quite sure someone like my sister or my cousin who loves makeup but wouldn't consider themselves a pro would absolutely love this black because they wouldn't feel as if it's overpowering for them. But there is no doubt in my mind, my absolute favorite shade is this shimmer color here, the Feels. When I tell you, the first time I put it on, I was stunned by how beautiful it was and how I was able to cover my entire lid without having to dip back into the pan. But to know that when I did, it was buildable and it gave me even more shine and even more color payoff, you can't tell me nothing about it. I promise you, I know for sure I'm going to be dipping back into this palette, if nothing else, for this shade alone. It's just, it looks like just your basic champagne, but to me, it's beautiful because it looks like it'll go with warm and cool tone looks. When I first saw it, all I kept thinking about is, Torrence, this will go beautiful with an all brown smoke. I just knew that's what I was going to do. I just couldn't see exactly why it was paired in this palette. But now that you see it there, honey, she's beautiful. And I'm telling you, I think the one thing I may even do with this whenever I go in with the brown smoke is I may even go in with a green eyeliner simply because I love green and golds together. I know many people see them as like gold and money. I personally just figure because I have a yellow undertone, gold shadows are beautiful on me. And simply because greens are my favorite shadows, I just like to mix green with anything. I don't care if it goes with the blue, with the purple, with the black. Green to me goes with everything the same way many people feel as if with black. But this palette is absolutely beautiful. And I'm telling you, honey, when I step off into work today, oh yeah, I'm gonna turn some heads and I'm gonna draw some attention, baby. Everybody gonna be asking me exactly where did I get this palette, and when they find out this is the same company that did the Detroit palette, baby, they gonna love it and they gonna want them one. Another thing, this settle finishing powder, I need them to hurry up and release this on the website, honey. I am someone who loves baking. Like, I love baking. I have an extremely large powder collection. And as I stated, when I first went in, I completely forgot to put this on because I am someone who loves to bake. I love to bake, but I really enjoy a bright under eye. So when this powder does launch, I will need a shade that is brighter than this, preferably either a translucent powder or like a pale banana powder. But this color here is absolutely beautiful. The way that this is transitioning from the under eye area down to the jaw and the neck area, it's stunning. And I'm just telling you, I'm just so happy with this launch here. It was one thing to receive it in PR, but to know that these products are beautiful and they work on my skin tone,
It's like, come through, Detroit. If you were to ask me, Torrence, would you recommend these products? I would tell you yes. I absolutely recommend the eyeshadow palette as well as the powder. To me, I really want to see more palettes like this. The fact that we are getting 3 mattes and a shimmer shade, I'm someone who absolutely loves quick eyeshadow looks simply because many days I don't have time to sit down and do the intricate looks that I like. And on those days where you know I can just look at this palette, figure out exactly what I want to do and be out the door, that's amazing. But what takes it an even step further is the fact that there are no glitters in this palette. Although I am someone who absolutely loves glitters, I understand that everyone else doesn't. And as someone who doesn't mind putting a shimmer color in the crease, I feel comfortable knowing I can do a complete eye look knowing any and every color can go in the crease. I've never personally seen anyone successfully blend a glitter into the crease, even though I know it can be placed there. So to me, that just takes these palettes just one step higher. And as stated earlier, you all can expect a tutorial on the business palette here because this palette only received one less vote than the one I'm wearing now. And I want to make sure that I get this out for you all because the fact that this has a beautiful shimmer color as well as a matte green, I got to see what it looked like. I'm not going to wait because this blue look turned out beautiful. And although I'm not the biggest fan of blues and oranges, I'm willing to give this FaceFX a chance. So we're going to make sure we use this orange shade on the next look as well. I ain't gonna promise y'all I'ma love it, but I'm gonna promise y'all I'ma try, simply because this brand has never given me a bad product. And I hope you all truly enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you also leave me a comment down below if you all voted for the Moods palette. Once again, it was a neck and neck, and this palette only won by 1 vote. So I'm quite sure there'll be many of you in the comment section that said you voted for the business palette, but trust me, that tutorial will be coming soon. Please make sure you all check out the FaceFX, not only on their Instagram, but also on their website. They have many different products to offer, such as eyeshadow palettes, powders, highlighters, and I cannot wait until I get my next paycheck because I will be looking at some of those lipsticks and seeing if they have any more powders in stock. But I've been talking long enough and I don't want to risk being late for work. So with that being all for now, remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye YouTube.